I remember the day his mother visited. Her words were like daggers. Clara, a woman who cannot bear children, is like a tree without fruit. Useless. David said nothing. He just stared at the floor while my heart shattered. Months later, he came home with divorce papers. Clara, he said, avoiding my eyes. I need children. You can't give that to me. It is over. I pleaded. I begged. But his decision was final. The humiliation was unbearable as I packed my bags and left the house we had built together. My name is Clara, and I was once a bride full of hope and dreams, until the day I was cast out of my home, labeled barren and worthless. They say a woman's strength is tested in the fire of betrayal, but no one warned me that mine would come from the man I loved the most. But life has a way of rewriting stories, and mine took a turn no one saw coming. This is the story of my life.
I never imagined my life would fall apart so suddenly. It all began on a sunny afternoon, the kind of day that should have promised hope and joy. Instead, it brought heartbreak. My name is Clara, and this is the story of how I became the forgotten bride. David, my husband, had been my world. We met at a friend's wedding, and from the moment our eyes locked, I believed we were destined forever. He was charming, successful, and kind. So I thought. Our first year of marriage was beautiful, filled with laughter and promises of a bright future. But when no child came, everything changed. I remember the day his mother visited. Her words were like daggers. Clara, a woman who cannot bear children, is like a tree without fruit. Useless. David said nothing. He just stared at the floor while my heart shattered. Months later, he came home with divorce papers. Clara, he said, avoiding my eyes. I need children. You can't give me that. It is over. I pleaded. I begged. But his decision was final. The humiliation was unbearable as I packed my bags and left the house we had built together. I moved to a small town, far from the whispers and judgments. Little did I know, my story was far from over. Life in the small town was quiet but lonely. I found a work as a seamstress and tried to rebuild my life. It was during one of my lonely evenings that I began to feel unwell. A visit to the clinic brought unexpected news. I was pregnant. The doctor smiled at me. Clara, you're carrying twins. Tears streamed down my face as disbelief turned into overwhelming joy. After all the years of pains and rejection, God has finally answered my prayers. Months passed and I gave birth to two beautiful babies, a boy and a girl. Nathan and Natalie were the life of my world, and they looked exactly like David. I knew I couldn't hide forever. They had a sharp jawline, his piercing eyes, and even his stubborn little frown. My joy, however, was short-lived. One fateful day, while walking through the market, I bumped into David's sister. Her eyes widened as she looked at the twins. Clara, are those? I didn't answer. I grabbed my children and fled. But it was too late. The news had reached David. David showed up at my doorstep 2 days later. His presence stirred up emotions I thought I had buried. Anger, love, and fear. He stared at Nathan and Natalie as if he had seen ghosts. They are mine, aren't they? He asked. Yes, I replied, my voice trembling. I want to be part of their lives, he said firmly. I made a mistake, Clara. please let me fix it. I wanted to scream at him, to remind him of how he had thrown me away like I was nothing. But the sight of my children holding his hand softened me. Before I could respond, a sleek car pulled up behind him. Out stepped a woman, tall, elegant, and furious. "This is your ex-wife," she sneered. "David, we talked about this. She and her brats are not part of her lives." Her name was Angela, David's new wife, and she was not about to let him reconnect with me or the children. Angela declared war. She made it clear that I would never be part of David's life again. She even threatened to take legal action to claim the twins, saying David had rights to his children, but I didn't belong in the picture. David, torn between his current wife and his newfound fatherhood, tried to mediate. "Clara, let me take care of the children. You can stay out of this." "Stay out of what?" I shouted. "I carried them for 9 months. I raised them alone. You don't get to take them away from me." Angela escalated her tactics. She spread rumors about me in the town, saying I was unfit to be a mother. My small business suffered, and I felt the walls closing in. But I wasn't going down without a fight. I fight for full custody of Nathan and Natalie, determined to protect them from the chaos David and Angela were bringing into our lives. The courtroom was tense. Angela sat beside David, her face smug, while I stood alone. The judge listened intently as both sides presented their case. Angela painted me as a desperate woman clinging to her past. But I had one thing she didn't have: truth. I told the court how David had abandoned me, how I had raised the twins without his support, and how he now wanted to claim them only because of guilt. In a surprising twist, David stood up. "I was wrong," he admitted. "Clara is an incredible mother. She deserves custody of her children." Angela's face turned red with fury. She stormed out of the courtroom, but the damage was done. The judge awarded me full custody of Nathan and Natalie, with David granted visitation rights. For the first time in years, I felt victorious. David apologized to me outside the courtroom. I realized something important. I didn't need his love anymore. My children and I were enough. I walked away with head held high, no longer the forgotten bride, but a woman who had reclaimed her life.